I believe that this is incredibly important. The fraud that the Democrats attempted to do using our taxpayer dollars and Social Security is mind-blowing. Here is Elon and one of his DOGE partners exposing massive amounts of fraud as the Democrats, the socialists, the commies made a concerted effort to turn our nation into a uniparty socialist state. Listen.
You'll notice there's a strange trend here where how many Social Security numbers were issued. Do you want to?
Yeah. So let me tell you what happened here. We started at the top of the system.
You want to talk about a lot of it.
We started at the top of the system, mapping the whole system of Social Security to understand where all the fraud was. And there's a lot of great people there that showed us really a lot of waste. And so that came up with a big list of stuff they're working on. You've heard some of that already. But this is what jumped out at us. When we saw these numbers, we were like, what is this? In 21, you see 270,000 people, goes all the way to 2.1 million in 24. These are non-citizens that are getting Social Security numbers.
Yeah, this is a mind-blowing chart.
Yeah, just this.
Non-citizens getting Social Security numbers.
This literally blew us away. Like, we went there to find fraud, and we found this by accident. And this isn't political, by the way. My parents are immigrants. Yeah, this country's been great to us. My brother and sister all born in Spain. I'm pro-legal immigration. This is not political. This is not political. This is about America and the future of America.
Please note the passion in his voice. I believe him in what he's stating.
And there are a lot of good people in the system that pointed us in this direction. I want to honor them right now. That work in the government today, who took risks to show us these numbers and tell us what's going on. Yeah. So I want to stop for a minute. I want to honor those people today. Very good people. Very good people. I have been from D.C. to Social Security offices to the border to track this down, and very good people have helped us along the way. I want to thank them.
Yeah.
This number, what this is when you come in the country, if you're an illegal, there's a couple ways to come in. You come in through a port of entry, and you can tell them you're afraid, and they'll give you an asylum case. You'll get an interview, then you get in. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to just go to the border. Literally, this happened. I talked to Border Patrol myself. Elon was there too. I went to Laredo, and I went to Bronzeville. Elon went to Eagle Pass. You walk up to a Border Patrol officer, and you tell them you want to come in. They have a couple of choices. They could charge you with a misdemeanor or a felony under 1325, or they can make it an administrative offense, like a parking ticket, basically. They were told to do that, make it an administrative offense under the last administration. And then you go walk across the border. They do what's called a release your own recognizance, and they give you an NTA, a notice to appear, which to appear to judge. The wait times on judges are like average 6 years. Look at Grok, you'll see it on immigration judges. There's only 700 of them. This is 5.5 million people, okay? So what happens then? Once you're in the country and you got asylum through one of these pathways, and we map the whole thing out, you can apply for a work document. You file a 765, it's the work form. You get this form called the 766, that's the authorization, and then Social Security Administration automatically sends you in the mail your Social Security number. No interview, no ID.
This is worth just reiterating. It's not people sometimes think that under the Biden administration that he was simply asleep at the switch. He wasn't asleep, they weren't asleep at the switch. It was a massive, large-scale program to import as many illegals as possible, ultimately to change the entire voting map of the United States and disenfranchise the American people and make it a permanent, deep blue, one-party state from which there would be no escape.
Look, if I hadn't seen this myself, I'm not sure I'd have believed it. I went through it myself and mapped it, and Elon is right. This is true. The defaults in the system from Social Security to all of the benefit programs have been set to max inclusion, max pay for these people.
So they never paid into the system. They are already generating checks for themselves, defrauding the American taxpayer, taking the money that we have earned, that we pay in taxes.
And minimum collection. That's what's happening. We found 1.3 million of them already on Medicaid, as an example. We've gone through, on every benefit program we went through, we found groups from this particular group of people, this 5.5 million people in those benefit programs. And then what was really, really disturbing us was why. We're asking ourselves why.
Right.
And so we actually just took a sample and looked at voter registration records. And we found people here registered to vote in this population, yes.
And who did vote?
And we found some
Did
by
vote.
sampling that actually did vote. And we have referred them to.
I guess it's not illegal if they have a social security number. I mean, they're not U.S. citizens, but as long as you have a social security number, you can vote. Sorry, I'm very vexed at the moment when I hear this.
Prosecution at the Homeland Security Investigation Service.
Yeah.
Already.
Good.
Already. That is already
Prosecute those people.
right now.
Kick them out.
Yeah. And the truly disturbing thing, though, I just want you to know this, a truly disturbing thing to me, and the darkest thing about this to me, the voter fraud is terrible, but the human tragedy this created is extraordinary, because what you don't understand, and people don't know, and Americans need to know, that's why I'm here, is that human traffickers made $13 to $15 billion off of this, okay? That's the money that's going around the world, moving people around the world to our borders because of these incentives. How does it work? What happens? Hey, if you're in Africa and you're in Central America, you got to walk up through Mexico, through Central America. Who do you pay? You pay the narcos, you pay the traffickers, right? And we were told by ICE.
And this is our money that is incentivizing them to come over here. All the freebies that are offered so that they are loyal to the Democratic Party. And this money is partially going to the narcos, making them more powerful.
It's between $20,000 and $500, depends where they pick you up, to walk across all those countries and get all the way up to the border. Where's that money goes? It goes to the cartels. It goes to human traffickers, right? There are 30,000 children that have not appeared on the notice to appear already. ICE knows this. 30,000 children, 270,000 children didn't even get notices to appear. ICE told us that kids are being trafficked back and forth across the border to complete families to make this easier. This is a human tragedy. It's not just the money, it's the people and the kids. Now, how many of these people died on the way up here that didn't make it in? What happened to them? We created a system here that created an incentive for people to come and be taken advantage of by these traffickers. And how do you think they get paid? What, you're in Africa, Central America, you got $20,000 or $10,000 or $5,000 to pay these traffickers? No, you don't. What happens? You come in, then you owe them the money. You're an indentured servant. If you don't pay them, what happens? What do? They kill your mother, they kill your brother, they kill your family. What happens next? That's what we discovered. And I have to tell you, it's tragic to me. The tragedy, the human tragedy this created is extraordinary. That's the real problem. This is America. We don't do this here in America.
Yeah.
We don't do this here in America.
To me, this is an incredibly powerful and must-see video. So please, by all means, do share it with your friends, because I'm incredibly irate that the Biden administration was incentivizing people to come here with our tax dollars as a giveaway, a freebie, that they were given social security numbers, and that they actually voted in U.S. elections. This is the evil of the Biden administration. And you can take the people that engaged in these illegal activities and you can throw them out of the country, you can put them in jail, you can do whatever. The problem is that those who are enabling this have an end in mind. And as Elon said, there's no doubt that it's a one-party state that is ruled by the socialists, that they get their hands on the reins of the U.S. government on a permanent basis, that they disenfranchise the American voter. So when you talk about the great replacement theory, it's not a great replacement theory of white Americans or Black Americans. It's a great replacement theory of all Americans, for people that are permanently going to owe them, those who were giving them all the freebies. And there's something about reciprocity. When somebody helps you, you help them back. So of course they're going to vote in massive numbers for the Democrat, for the blue team, and then they are going to permanently take over the government. They must be held into account. Those that engaged in these plans, those that told ICE to only give a parking ticket to those streaming across the border and engaged in sending them all over America in planes, their airfare paid with our tax dollars. These are evil people, and you must disincentivize them from doing it again, because they'll just bide their time and then do it again, knowing that they have their plants already in the country that are accounting for some votes or future votes at minimum, because we're not going to be able to get all those who crossed illegally out of the country. So they're just going to bide their time, wait 4 years, and do the same thing again, unless you take them and you give them long prison sentences, because what they did is traitorous to the United States of America, which I am very proud to call myself a citizen of, which I'm grateful, after traveling all over the world and living in 7 different countries and traveling to 60, that I was lucky enough to have born in. And I can tell you there is such a thing as American privilege around the planet. God bless everybody out there. And please, again, share this video, because it's incredibly important for people to understand the scope of the fraud and the scheming and planning that the blue team has engaged in over these years.